business for us. But let's move the conversation forward now to somebody who's joining me in studio. The Big Four agenda spans various areas of the economy, and affordable housing is a key pillar. So with a considerable mortgage offering, Barclays Bank is seeking to partner with the government in the implementation of this ambition of putting up 500,000 affordable housing units. Now here to discuss further is George Laboso, the head of mortgage at Barclays Bank of Kenya. Thank you so much for making time for us today.
Thank you very much, Madika, and thank you for having us here.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, we do know that, there is a 200,000 housing deficit annually in Kenya. And it seems that this rate is what they're trying to curb with the affordable housing program through the Big Four agenda. But how do you plug into the Big Four as banks?
So the 200,000 units, it's actually the demand that is there on every year. So if you look at how many units are being put up, we have about 50,000 or less than 50,000 every year. So if you look at the total accumulated demand is in excess of 2 million shillings. So what the government is saying is that they want to come in and see how do they help solve this issue of demand where there are no enough houses.
True.
While you have very many people who can afford to buy these units, on the supply side, there is not enough units. And some of the demand that we are seeing is mostly on the affordable space. So these are people probably who are looking for houses of 3 million and below, 5 million and below. There are not so many units in that space. So the opportunity that we have as banks is to see how do we partner with the government to achieve this agenda of 500,000 units. Actually, the houses that the government wants to do is more than 500,000. It's actually 1 million, and then maybe go on to 2 million.
Okay.
So as banks, we have opportunity to play both on the demand side and on the supply side. On the supply side, and I don't know whether you've seen what the governments want to do. They want to give out pieces of land because they know if you are putting up a housing, one of the costs you'll have to incur is purchase land, put infrastructure, and all the costs, which makes up 3 or 4 million shillings. So what the government has said, we are going to give you land, we are going to give you infrastructure, to put up these houses. So as banks, we are going to partner with developers to then put up houses, and the land is free, those houses will be able to cost less than shillings, and this is what the government. So that's on the supply side. On the other side, assuming the houses are there today, 500,000 units, who's going to finance the purchase of them? We have an opportunity for us to get in and finance these buyers. Of course, if you are looking for a mortgage of, say, 3 million shillings, then one of the things that you'll have in mind, at what cost cost me, at what interest rates. At Barclays, what we've done is that we've seen that most people can afford these mortgages if the interest is low. So we tried as much as possible to bring the interest rate as low as we can. And currently, I'm sure you know, we are going to we are currently giving mortgages at interest rates of from as low as 11.5. The other thing that we've done is we've partnered with the government on the demand side. I'm sure you've heard about the Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company. This company, once it's set up, is going to give long-term loans at interest rates that will be below 10%. So again, as one of the shareholders and one of the partners on that side, we'll be playing in that space.
Okay, so from your end, of course, what you're saying is that the government, as well as the banks and the citizens, form this sort of chain, and you can plug into both sides, supply, demand, and boost this connection. You know, they did say that they are going to cater specific brackets of houses that apply to the people that are there. And recently they did talk about that the middle to high income range will cater for Kenyans earning between 50,000 and 99,000 and so on and so forth. And it also said that the bed-seater will cost a maximum of 800,000 to purchase. And, you know, they've kind of given us some sort of indication already in terms of the amounts. And so the banks can also prepare. But, you know, when it comes to giving these mortgages out, what are the volumes of people that you're looking to cater to?
So from the government side, we know there are over 2 million employed people, right? And if you look at these employed people, most of them earn below 100,000, right? So maybe below 90 below 100,000 is about maybe 70 to 80%. So these are the people who traditionally they've not been able to afford mortgages. One, because the housing units are not there. So if today you go to the market, you will not find any house that is costing 3 million. You might find maybe one or two, but mostly they are not there. So so there is demand for those houses, but the units are not there. So as banks, we are willing then to come in and finance these buyers at rates that are below 11.5%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So owing to, of course, our time constraints, we'll just, finally ask you one more question. So when you talk about the real estate sector right now, where do you see us? Because there has been some sort of turbulence. There was the whole bubble burst on house prices as well. As we wrap up, briefly, you could just tell us that.
So of course, people say that there is a bubble, and the bubble is about to burst. But if you look at the fundamentals, like we started, we said there are about 200,000 demand for housing units in Kenya today. Of course, the market concentrated on the high end. So there might be an oversupply of units in some very few pockets around Nairobi. But majority of the population has not been catered for because maybe the private developers didn't have enough incentives to go down.
Okay.
But now with the government agenda for the Big Four, we have enough incentives for people to go down and finance units that are below 3%. 3 million, and this is what majority of people are looking for.
All right, thank you so much for all your insights, George. We're very glad that you could have joined us.